Go.
Chill.
Drop.
Damn. Go.
Chill.
Drop.
Damn. Go.
Chill.
Drop.
Okay, and how about now? I've seen a little bit of a level here. Okay, give me oh, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me. There's always something, man. Something decides to change, since the last stream. Oh, all right. Well, as you guys catch up in the chat, let me know if it's too loud, too soft, or if you guys can hear me just fine. And I appreciate you sticking around there to our phenomenal start to the stream. But once again, welcome everybody. Mike Anderson here with the 1% Solution and Living Motion Monograms. Happy Monday to you guys. I hope you guys are, recuperating a little bit from, as always, a crazy weekend of events. And I hope you guys had some really good stories and some really great events, most importantly. That's what I'm hoping for. And I hope you guys are ready to get your learn on when it comes to motion monograms. I wanted to do this for a while, and I think there's going to be more because, the programs like Sony Vegas and Photoshop and all this stuff, it's not something that you're going to learn in one day. And don't feel like I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't just take it one step at a time. I just want to get you guys started off and kind of show you some of the different features and just some of the basics when it comes to Sony Vegas itself, because it's a very powerful program. I use it all the time, especially if you're planning on doing motion monograms. Heck, I even use it for doing audio editing. I haven't dove in. I've got the entire Adobe suite just because I pay per month for it. And, I do want to get into seeing what some of the Adobe programs can do when it comes to audio and even video. Besides After Effects, I haven't even jumped into much of the video on that. But one of the things I am definitely used to is Sony Vegas, and I've had it for quite some time. Now, you guys are going to see I've got all kinds of different versions. I was going to actually do this with Sony, the movie studio. The problem is that the movie studio I have, it's so old, it doesn't even allow me to actually, it doesn't allow me to do anything even in HD. That's how old it was. It's like Movie Studio 8. And so right now I just couldn't, purchase another license because I've got everything up to Sony Vegas 14 Pro. But here's the thing, you don't need, the pro version. Audio lost again now. If you've lost audio, Ryan, check settings, make sure kind of lower the quality especially if you're on a mobile device. But check it out here. Let's see. License, because it's there. Okay. But, check it out. We want to welcome everybody into our live chat. For those of you just joining us, don't forget that if you want to be part of the live chat, you got to log into YouTube on, your desktop or on your mobile app in order to see that live chat feature and be able to chime in and ask those questions. We got Alex there. Hey, how you doing? Great to have you here, Alex. Thanks so much for joining us. Daniel, no sound, but hey, I think we got it fixed for you. Ryan is here with us. Sue the DJ, always a pleasure to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Sue even says that she's never used Sony Vegas before, but haven't seen its beautiful quality. Obviously, that would be my first step, and I'm very interested in seeing how it works with monograms. Exactly. And it's just, I'm here to kind of show you guys some of the different programs that are out there. And I really do think that it's going to be up to you to figure out, what's going to be best for you. Okay. Anything you go with, you're going to have to take it, like I said, step by step, and just, take that one step at a time, learn how to do one thing at a time. And before you know it, you're going to be an expert at it. So, all right. So Ryan, perfect. All right. Appreciate it. Michael's here from Coastal Events. Thanks so much, Michael, for joining us. Appreciate you being here. And you know what? First thing we're going to have to do, though, is we're going to dive in. We're going to start a new little folder here, and let's go with the let's see. We're going to call these 8.7 monograms, because in order to use, if we're going to use Sony Vegas, we need some monograms, and one of the first things that we can do is, let's go in here. We're going to open this up. All right, so we've got our tools disk. Shameless plug there. And for those of you not familiar with the Tools 3.0 disk, basically it's got 50 monogram designs, a lot of different tools for you guys. But in here you also have a folder called Motion Monograms. And basically, there's just 10 motion monograms for you to play around with and have some fun with. But one of the things you're going to notice the difference of is that all of these, if we say open up template, this is Motion Monogram 1. And say we open up template 8 in Photoshop, you're going to notice that it's a little different than as if we opened up one of our Photoshop templates from our static designs. So this one's got a black backdrop, but here's the key. Now, it doesn't matter which version of Photoshop you're using. And in fact, why don't we do this? We're going to make things, because I know most of you guys are using Photoshop Elements. So, hey, Peter, thanks so much for subscribing. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for dropping in. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are not, it's going to let you know. And hit that bell icon. It'll let you know when we go live on new tutorials and just whenever we do new educational content for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and open up with Elements. That might help you guys out follow along a little bit better. Majority of you guys, no. All right, are using Elements here. And let's go back here. I'm going to go back to our Motion, and again, open up that template with Elements. And you'll notice here again, so here's the only difference is this one has no background to it. The background layer is here, but you're going to notice off to the right, you see the little eye icon. If I click that, it comes back. Now, that's the key feature that any of the other 50 that you guys are using, all you have to do if you want to use it on a motion background is just, hit that eye icon, because it's going to turn that background layer off. More sound entertainment. Just subscribe. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Thanks for being here. And so as you turn off that background layer, that's going to allow us, it's going to be really important because it's going to allow us to, if we want, put video or put a motion loop or something behind this design. That's just basically what this checkerboard pattern means here. So the other really important thing to do is that you cannot just save this as a JPEG image. So if this is our design and we go to File, we're going to go to Save As, and let's go to our desktop and find our folder that we're saving them into. So this will be just our little test one. But what you're going to want to do is with Sony Vegas, you can actually save it as a Photoshop file. You can have this background layer here as long as it's turned off. But Sony Vegas and Movie Studio, all those, they will accept Adobe Photoshop files, and you won't have to, save it as a PNG. The other option is to get your work done here and then just save this as a PNG file. The PNG file itself is going to preserve that translucent background. So if we save it as I'll show you both, but here's the PNG, we'll save that, hit OK. And if we save as, I'm just going to save as a JPEG here. Make sure we got our right folder. And I always just crank this up to maximum as far as quality. That way it's got the most quality possible. But now, if we look at these in our folder, you're going to notice something. This one shows up with the black background, mainly because I think at least on this photo viewer that I have here, there are options where you can set your background color on this. So I think right now the background color is set to black, but this other one, this one that I just labeled test, I just saved that as a JPEG. But what happens is if you save it as a JPEG, it's going to automatically assume and basically put in a white background. as a JPEG image. So this is just going to be it's like it's got a white background to it. And now we lose, you know, the coloring in our design as well, and some of our design that we see there. So you can see kind of the before and after there. So that test one to begin with is not a good way to go. And so we've got that one set. We can use any of these ones. Trevor Rose, hey, just subscribe. Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate you being here and subscribing to the channel. We've got any of these are going to be set up that way. So all of the Motion Monograms are going to be set up with basically translucent backgrounds. The background's turned off on them. But again, if you open up any of the Photoshop templates, and you can use any of these designs with any motion design you want. You just got to make sure that when it opens, we've got our background. We want to turn that background layer off. And this particular one has a few, so we've got some options on backgrounds there. So then we'll save this one as well. Let's go save as. And I'll save that one as a Photoshop to show you guys how it can work. That would be a good one. It's going to be a good one to use when it comes to the I'll show you guys maybe this little star field. We'll make it a little light speed for our Star Wars design here. What's another good one that we want to utilize here? Where's the champagne glass? I like that one. There we go. 35. So I want to use, we're going here and just say open. All right, Photoshop templates, 35. We're going to turn our background off. Champagne. Okay. So really that's the only work we're going to do, unless you guys have questions later about about Photoshop itself. We can kind of get into that a little bit as well. So we'll go ahead and close this out, and then we'll open up our ta-da! Sony Vegas. All right, so one of the things you guys will probably notice, yours may look a little bit different. This is Sony Vegas. This one's Pro 13. And when I suggest, you know, versions of Vegas for people, typically I will recommend, you know, Movie Studio Platinum, just because it's a lot less expensive, and it's not something where, let's look at it. Movie Studio, Sony. Instead of spending $1,400 on the full blown version, and really most of the time, sometimes it's just plugins that you're never going to use, or really it's the layers. And so with like this version that I have, I can do kind of an unlimited amount of layers, but the other one you can do like, I have to check, but it's got more layers than you'll ever end up needing to use. So don't worry about that as well. And as I go through this, you guys have questions, toss them in on the chat so that I can get those answered, or things you want to know about Sony Vegas on how to do certain things, so I can get those answered during the live stream as well. Okay, so Sony Creative Software Studio 13. Let's just go to shopping and see what it says. So yeah, $49.99 as opposed to $60, $79. That's 14 Platinum. Movie Studio. You know, and I'll do some research and make sure, like this one's a bundle, so you get Platinum with DVD Architect if you're planning on making DVDs. It can be helpful. But you can see like Vegas 14 Pro. it gets expensive. So $350, which has come down a lot since what I purchased. Just upgraded to 14. And one of the reasons I upgrade is because sometimes the codecs, obviously the codecs themselves, and the codecs are what it renders in as. So it's like, you guys have probably heard of Windows Media files and MP4s and stuff, but in order to make those files, it's got to encode it a certain way. And as time goes by, those codecs get better and better. And so it allows us to package them in a more efficient way. So let's get you guys introduced here and just kind of give you a brief overview of what you're going to see in here. So at the top right side, we've got our, this is our preview window. And down here is going to be our section where we're going to do all of our editing. This is our timeline. You can come down here and right click and it'll allow you to either insert audio tracks or video tracks, or if you just drag something in, then it's going to, for example, like the first track you drag in, I've got it set up to where it says, do you want to set your project video settings to match this media? And I say yes, because I want them to be the same there. And now if I put my cursor on here, now we get to see what it looks like up here. Now I've got my settings. If you're, depending on how powerful your computer is, you may want to work in something like draft and auto. You'll see the quality kind of goes down a little bit. If you've got the power, it's always nice to, I usually work in full. So best and full, and that's just your this is your rendering quality as far as just your visual as you're doing your work. So that's our timeline down here. Now remember, just as though we're working in Photoshop, we work in layers here. And so if I go over here and right click and add another video layer, now I could like bring down another, say, template. There's my template there. Now, since we're working in layers, whatever is on top is going to show up on top of what's below it. So if we rearrange these orders and actually just grab this channel, bring it down, now the snowflakes here are covering our monogram design. And that's why whatever is our background, we want towards the bottom. And then whatever we're working on up here, we want our design that we want to show through, or at least on top, is going to be on the top side. All right, so let's get rid of these because I want to go into our folder that we have on our desktop, which should be under, I'm going to refresh that. There we are. So for example, we've got our Star Wars, and that just shows up with our black background. So next step is going to be, we got to find some motion loops. So let's see what we have in our, see what we got to work with here. And desktop. In our tools disk, we might be able to go in and see some of the, we'll go to monograms and just look at not motion monograms, but motion loops. See what pops up here. We've got stuff like fireworks and diamonds and the snow. Where's our star field? I'm going to toss that over here. Here are diamonds. All right, so we got a few of them over here. And I want to go in, let me make sure I've got your guys's, our chat updated, so I want to be able to see that. There we are. Okay. So we've got our first one, which is our Star Wars. And anytime, once the program's open, by the way, anytime you add stuff into another folder, you may have to hit that refresh button in order for them to pop up inside this window. So kind of continuing our tour of Vegas here. Basically, our timeline's at the bottom here. Now, at the bottom, below our timeline, we've got some controls, and these are just basic. So we've got play, which will allow, we can actually play files, start and stop by using our space bar. And that'll just allow us to start and stop on the timeline itself. We've got our normal editing tool here. And then we've got some different other items like envelope and selection tool and stuff. So which I'll probably cover and go over a little more in depth into our tutorials that I'll do on Sony Vegas for you guys, so that you can kind of go at them one by one. But that'll be coming up here soon. And then you've also got some of our editing tools. So like this one right here. This is an important one. Auto ripple, Control L. Basically, if you click this, the little arrow icon, it's going to say affected tracks. Now, affected tracks, bus, tracks, markers, and regions, and affect all tracks, markers, and regions. Now, I'm going to show you guys the difference, what this does, because this can mess you up and drive you nuts for a while if you're not careful with it. Let's go and so now that I've got a couple things on here. So affected, if this thing is on, if it's off, for example, down here at the bottom, then what you're going to see is that I can move this track without affecting this one, or I can move this one. I can put them wherever I want, no worries. But if I turn this on, and we'll start with the top one, affected tracks, I can move one track, no worries. But if and the way I'm going to work this is I need another video file. There we are. So if we do that and toss a couple on here. Okay, so the first one on here, which is affected tracks, if I move one item on that track itself, it's going to move everything in that track, which is that line, okay, including the audio. The next one down is affect tracks, bus, markers, regions, and that's the same. Basically, if I'm going to be doing, which I'll show you later, this little volume thing, if I'm making adjustments to volume on a certain audio track, and now I move stuff, then those little volume sections here that I just created are going to go along with that particular section. Now, if I take that off and I move this, it just stays with that track, but it doesn't move any of the other ones. So we'll turn that back on. Then the last one, all tracks, markers, and regions. If I select that one, and you're working on a big project, but you need to move things around, then one of the things you may want to do is select that. And that way, as I make adjustments, say to this very beginning, if I move one item, it moves everything on every timeline. Okay, and that's where it might drive you nuts, where you start adding stuff in, and if you don't have the right one selected, I want that thing just to move by itself. Then you can like turn this off and make those adjustments, or at least just affect that first track itself. So, do I have a warp? Mike wants to know if we have warp speed star motion that can go with Star Wars Monogram. All I can find out there is regular star motion. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. See if we can create one. In fact, that is one that we have up right now. And let's go ahead and get rid of this. There we go. So we've got, if we want warp speed, we just added our motion monogram design in here. Make this big as possible for you guys so you can see. I know it can be difficult with any small screens you got. Move this. There we are. So our first one that we have is this star field here. And we're going to see how well you guys can see. I'm going to make this as large as possible, because that's what we're working with here. So we've got our first star field. And again, all I did was drag the tracks in. We've got our top monogram here. You know, you can also make adjustments with this. Let me, it's a little smaller there. Now, on each track, you're going to notice a couple things. There's a little item here. If we can make it to where you can punch in, but right with each track towards the right side, there's always going to be one thing that looks like a pan crop, and if you just hover over it, it'll say event pan crop. One of the things you can do on that is just click that. It's going to bring this window back over. It'll give us some options here. And this pan crop is going to allow us to, there we are, if we want to, you know, move in and actually zoom in on that video file, just to take up more space here, we can always do that. And give us a little light speed action there. Also, what I'm going to do is, let me see what else I have when it comes to it's doing a little scan here. So yeah, working on a little light speed. It'd be nice to let's do a search. Yeah, and if you guys haven't already, you guys got to check this out. I've used this for quite some time. I use it for DJing, for doing everything when it comes to you know, searching for stuff. But it's just called Everything. I love the program. It's a free program. Again, one of those programs that is free, and you can donate to the users. They always improve it. So Everything search is all I put in. And right here, it's Void Tools is the menu, is the group. And basically what it does is anything that's plugged into your computer, it will automatically include in the search. So you don't have to, it's a lot better than Windows search, because if I just want to start tossing stuff in here, I can actually do the search by videos, pictures, audio. But like I just typed in star and it's bringing up any videos I have or stuff with the word star in it. If I do Chrome microphone, see this got stars in it, and I open that up. Oh, we got a little microphone. Okay, go away. Let's see, I need stars. Try stars, I'll narrow it down here. So there is just a different, I guess, type of star. It's probably not what we really want. There's our moon. Motion. That's kind of a cool one. Maybe we'll toss that over here in the folder for something later. Globe, stars, space. Yeah. Let's see, star. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Okay. You know, one of the other things we can do, because I also subscribe, and we're going to put this over here till I get in here. Video Blocks is one of those places where I get to kind of find some new stuff. I have a subscription to Video Blocks. Also, I recommend, if you haven't checked it out already for content, God, I lost it. I don't have it on the on my favorites here, but it's like Beehive. No, it's not Beehive. God, what is it? Maybe you guys can help me out in chat. Video clip speed. God, it's something Hive. What? Come on, no. Video Hive. There we go. Video Hive is the other place, and they have a lot of stuff. Everything from video clips to audio, all kinds of stuff to use. But let's see if we can find something that's going to be very cool for this. Oops, I can't spell today, but light speed. See if anything pops up. There we go. Check these out. Okay. So here's our light speed. And yeah, again, one of the things I'm not a big fan of with this is that they decided that instead of just doing, hey, you're a subscriber, you can download anything you want. No, we're going to toss a bunch of other stuff in there that you're probably never, ever going to use. Or we're going to toss a bunch of stuff in there that you will have to pay an extra $50 a clip for. So that is kind of annoying to me. Okay, so our backgrounds, let's try that. Star. So we got that. So these are all the bunch of free ones. I was hoping that Lightspeed one was perfect, but unless we're going to use it for an event, I'm not paying another $50 more right now. We got Ian in the house tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, Ian. I appreciate it. It's okay if you were late. We will accept your apology. Well, again, that's another pay clip. Okay, so we've got it. Well, we're gonna have to use what we have right now. But we'll download this for now. Because I don't see anything that's going to give us that light speed jump. But that's okay. We're going to get back to it. Because there are a few other things I want to show you guys as well with this. So our first thing, we've got, we can zoom in if we wanted to make these stars just a little bit closer or fill the space a little bit more. And as we can see here, they're kind of flying in. One thing with Sony Vegas is that if down here, the bottom clip is actually our video loop. That's the stars that we're using right now. And if we just start to drag that, it might be a little hard to see, but right here, we zoom in, you'll see a little notch in here. And that just means that it started the clip over. Not all video clips are true loops, okay? So take that into consideration. Some of them, you'll notice that when it restarts, it might jump or jitter. But if you drag this in and say that's our first one, we can, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this go through one time. We're gonna copy this, make another one, and I'm gonna drag this so that it makes, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, one of the things you can do, Mike wants to know, how do you slow things down? How do you speed things up? Actually, really easy. It's just as you come to the end here, if you hover over the very right side of your clip and hold down your control key it says time stretch. Now you can compress or you can extend things. So the first thing, let's do, it's like, how do we slow things down? Well, we can take one clip and stretch this out. And I believe I might let you do it ×2. Yeah, it's basically about ×2 here. So now when we play this back, it's going to be slow motion. Now you're not really going to see the best of its quality until you render it down. And for that, we're going to go through real quick and do something kind of a simple render. Test 1, and let's render this just to see. And that, I'm rendering it at 60 frames per second, so it should give us the best possible quality that we're going to see here. And then to do the opposite, like if I want to speed these things up, I'm going to show you that we're going to extend this out to loop 4 times, and then I'm going to squish those 4 together and see what it does as well. It'll give you a little insight on what we're able to do. And how long is this thing? Oh, yeah, it's a minute long and 60 frames. Yeah, that's not going to work for us here. This computer is outrageously fast, but we're going to speed things up a little bit. That's going to go a little faster. So you can also do it that way as well. So we can squish things, we can extend things out. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is that when you do start to extend some of these motion clips out, and I think one of the other ones, the stars here won't show it that much, but I'll toss in like some of our, the other snow effect, and depending on the quality of the clip, when you stretch it out and slow it down, you're gonna start to see it look more jittery than smooth. Okay, because you're just adding basically frames, and you're not adding any frames of the motion itself in between the lines. So now when we refresh this, and it's say I want to go ahead and play that clip we just did, test 1. Now here's our slow motion clip. Doesn't look bad at all once it's rendered, because it could look a little bit more jittery when it's not. And then we'll go back, and our next thing we want to do is to take this one, which is really long, and we're going to see how fast we can make it. Again, we're going to hold down our control key and drag this. That's going to compress this to go. There's our light speed. All right, now if we render this clip, and I'm just going to render part of it. Boom. All right. Now we can see how fast we can make that as well. So I'll go back, and now if we want to, we can get rid of these for now. Where's our fast one? There we are. Now this is a new clip all by itself, so now we can actually use this in our monogram design if we wanted something faster. Do what we did before and just kind of zoom in a little bit, maybe get a little more of the effects in there. Okay, so we've made our clip. I want to talk to you guys about rendering, because this is important too. When you start to add your stuff in here, it's important on how you want, what settings you're going to end up using. But at the top under File, you're going to see a couple things. You're going to see Save As, Render, and real-time rendering. So basically just concentrate, save itself, if you save as whatever you're working on. So we've got our folder set up, and that folder itself is going to have our design in it, but this is just, say, project. This lets us save the project, save this timeline. Doesn't render it, but it just saves the project in case we make changes to it later. And if we go to File and we go to Render As, it'll give us a bunch of options. Now, this one's going to have a lot more options than what your guys may have right now, just because the version it has. But a couple things to look at. You've got off to the right side, you're going to look at what these file extensions are. So first thing we kind of see is the A3, AIF. A lot of these are geared towards certain cameras and certain codecs. For that, don't worry about it right now. You'll see MP3. So if you're rendering an audio file, then you can select quality of MP3 that you want to render it down as. MPEG 2, main concept. And with Sony, one of the things that I always use is Sony AVC. So we click on Sony AVC. This is the new kind of H.264 format, I believe. So, and Sony AVC, and you see off to the right says .mp4 or .mp or M2. Look for maybe Internet 1920 by 1080, and I'm going to go to Customize Template just so you guys can see what these settings are, because you can make your own as well. So I've got it set for high definition 1920 by 1080, video format AVC. We've got profile high. Let's see, encoding, CABAC, field order, again, non-progressive, always use non-progressive. There's no point upper or lower. You do not want progressive, or basically you don't want progressive scan. It's old technology. So non-progressive. Bit rates, this is kind of your quality as well, so you can bring this up or down. But I've got it set for 16 million. There's a little glitch with sometimes with Sony, and if you're using a certain video card or something, if you set this to render with CPU only, then you usually don't have any issues. But if you set it to render with like your video card, sometimes it will crash the program. Enable progressive downloads, doesn't matter. And then we go to audio. I've got audio. We're not using any audio, so we don't really have to worry about that. Sample rate 4800, system, and project. So project is going to be important because I want you to check video rendering quality. This is set for use project settings because I am using best and full. But you always want to make sure this is set to best. Otherwise, I'll show you guys something here in a second. We're going to hit OK. And because I want to show you, see this up here, what I showed you earlier, your best. This shows you your draft, your actual quality of the preview that you're looking at on the screen here. So if this is set to, like, say, draft and auto, yeah, the image quality is going to be less. It's not as hard on your computer, but again, this is just what you're working with right now. But if I've got this set to draft, because I don't want it to bog down my computer when I'm doing actual, the editing itself, and I go and I hit render, the problem is that, like we're just in Internet. And if I go to project here, it says use project settings. So if I use project settings, it's going to make this render as the low quality render. And that's just going to make your stuff look really bad. So you always want to make sure this is set to best. Use project settings for 3D mode. I don't think anybody's doing any 3D designs right now. And if I make changes or something, if I want to rename this, it's set up as Internet, but I can hit the save button up here. Can't modify that because it's a template. So I have to rename this a little bit. 30p. Best. And then it'll allow me to save it. Okay. So that, we're going to go ahead and hit render. That'll render up there. Ian says, I used to use Sony Vegas, great program, but if you are looking for a great alternative that is cheaper, check out Wondershare Filmora at only $60. It's a steal. Well, it's the same price as Sony. Yeah. Sony's less than that, I think. Time to lose internet. No. All right, Peter, we're glad to have you back there. So now as we open up our new file that we just rendered, we have our fast stars. And that gives us a little bit of a little light speed there that we're looking for. So we can find the true light speed one in there. I just haven't purchased the video files yet for it. And I'll probably wait until we get someone who wants that design for it. For that. Okay, so now if you are, I also want to show you guys under rendering. So now we've got, just kind of highlight our area here. And I'll show you some features of the rendering. So we've talked about if you want to save it as MP4, then use the I suggest using the Sony main concept or the Sony AVC for that. And then if you want to do like Windows Media, then just scroll down till we see Windows Media video. I do notice the quality is less. I have, like, for example, this is custom Windows Media. And what I did is typically start here at 8 megabits per second. And that's the 1080. 30 frames per second, and I'm going to go ahead and hit customize template. There, we can rename this to say HD, WMV HD, and I'll just do custom. And for this, then all of a sudden we can start bumping things up. So if we are working with audio, we want the audio better. All of a sudden we bring up the audio to 320. So now that's the first tab. We go to video. Let's look at what the video settings are. Image size, it's high definition 1440 by 1080. Maybe we want to customize this. Now, the pixel ratio, the reason this is still HD, keep in mind with Windows Media is the codec's a little bit different. This is where things get confusing. You'll notice pixel aspect ratio is 1.33. Okay, so if I did 1 as square, then this would be off. So if I do the 1.33 is the same as pretty much 1920 by 1080. You got our frame rates. If we're doing a lot of action, sometimes we want to double the frame rates, go 60 frames per second these days. Video smoothness, I want sharp. We've got our bit rate. So this shows us what our bit rate is, internet, LAN, the highest possible, it's at 8 megs per second. And let's see, I want to see if, again, we're going to go to best for our render quality under project. Go back. Then our keyframes. All right. Where is? That's Windows Media Audio. Or our video. I want to crank this up. I want this to be. So always use, as far as mode, don't use variable bitrate. Just use CBR, which is constant bitrate. Then hit OK. I want to see what I put on my other custom one. I'll show you guys this one. This is one I was working on. So under video settings, I've got it up to 30 frames per second, 1440 by 1080. Windows Media 9, constant bitrate. Keyframes are at 5. And then overall default compression buffer in seconds is 3. So I just have sharpness cranked all the way up to 100. And then our bitrate, what I did is I changed our bitrate to 20 instead of so 20 megabits per second, just to up the quality on that. And that's my custom settings for Windows media files. That's what I usually make if I have to make a Windows media file, what I make them at. I do notice that even at the best settings I do on Windows media, the MP4s are always crisper, cleaner. They do still play on Windows media players as well, and on Windows files. So, oh yeah, Ian says thought Vegas was around $599. If you get the Pro version, like the Vegas 13, even now Vegas 14, we're just looking at that, has come down because it did get sold. Sony sold the software to Magix or something when they did theirs. Where is... So, but Movie Studio itself, 14, I think is the newest one. That's the one I recommend to people who are just, or not videographers. So Magix Entertainment Movie Studio 14 Platinum. There's $24. This electronic version. Electronic download. Now, that's academic. So yeah, price does change. I think if you're a student, you get a lot cheaper, but yeah, $80. Movie Studio Platinum. It works the same way. You just don't have as many layers, but you'll never end up using all the layers anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. No worries on that. And then also don't forget, guys, I know that I think I got Ryan still in the chat here or whatever. This Star Wars design here that you guys see, this is all part of Windows or the Tools 3.0. You guys should have 50 design templates. And what I did here today was just take the star field that is in Tools, and I used that as a backdrop to the the Star Wars design that I made for you guys, which is, what template is it? You guys remember? So on our tools, and if you should have 50 right now, there are currently 50 monogram designs. And you can use any of these designs for use with like motion. So like if you like that Star Wars one, which happens to be number 46. So as shown earlier, we just open up number 46. We're going to open this with our elements. So that opened up number 46, but just remember what you want to do before you use this in with Sony to make a video is just make sure that we turn off all of our background layers and then save the file. You can save it as a Photoshop file again, or save it as a PNG, and then add in your star background, which is one of the motion loops, I think, in... Let's take a look. Yep, Starfield is in there. So again, I just used the tools that were already there on the disk, to create this for you guys today. So it's something you can very, very easily do, Ryan, if you want to offer it to your clients as well. So yeah, again, just dropping stuff in and being able to make those changes. We got our champagne glasses. What can we do with these? So we've got our champagne glasses. It's black background there. We got our moon and our stars. We can always make adjustments to the way this is all set up. So if this, we've got our moon and stars here and our glasses and everything are too big. Again, we're going to hover over our event pan and crop, click on that. And let's go ahead and just make this smaller and adjust this. Whoa. Now moving around. So we make our adjustments. I'd go up here, go best. And that gives us our little twinkle effect. I'm not saying it looks great. I don't know what champagne glasses would be doing in the right in the middle of everything, but what I'd like to do, and I might try and do for you guys on the next update, is I'm going to take these glasses and actually animate the bubbles inside the glasses so that you guys have those that you can toss in and use as a kind of a video backdrop. Maybe I'll just do the background as black and then have the bubbles going so that you can kind of position them wherever you want them. Would be kind of a cool thing for you. Mike says it would be cool to mix the fast as well as the slow star fields for the Star Wars Motion Monogram. Yeah, no, I agree. It's would be pretty easy. I mean, if we wanted to mix the two together, you've got we made our kind of standard setup. We've got our, well, let's see here. Test one, I think is this, is that the slow? All right, so there is our slow. And let's say we're going to do this for 10 seconds. So I'm going to just shrink this down by dragging it. And then we have our fast, which is our 2. And we can always loop this one to whatever we want. And we could, like if we wanted to see what it looks like here, it's slow. It's about to hit light speed here. And go. It's not the smoothest thing in the world, but in that case, I would probably just purchase. I would purchase the light speed one itself, because that would look really a lot better. I would definitely say. So let's go ahead and save this one as well. Light speed. Yeah, thank God I got something that'll render fast, because yeah, this rendering can take quite some time unless you got some serious juice pushing this thing. And then it all of a sudden speeds up quite a bit. So all right, and these are speeding along. Perfect. Let's see what it looks like. We just got done with it. Open this up. Starfield project, light speed. So this is going to start off slow, and we're going to hit light speed in about 3, 2, 1, go. And that speeds up. I definitely like the actual light speed video file. It just looked a lot better. But yeah, that'll do, I guess. You know, that'll do for a little bit there. Close this out. Cool, guys. And also, like I said, if you have any questions on Vegas, you know, let me know in the comment section or in our chat right now. I can get those answered for you guys as we wind things down. But yeah, again, it was just, you know, the whole purpose today, get you guys that intro on how easy it is just to stack these things. And you know, if you're using, say, the tools DVD, you can go into Motion Monograms. We've got them lined up here. Now, just remember that Motion Monograms 6 and 10 are both After Effects templates. You have to have After Effects in order to make edits or changes to those. So you're not going to be able to set those up the same way without actually using After Effects. So we've also got, but any of these other ones, Motiongram, we've got, let's go in and what's number 1? This is our blue effect. So again, we just take our blue effect here and put our template or design right on top of it. And we need to see if you do not have, or if you cannot see your video preview, what you need to do is go up here to the top menu, go to view, and we're going to look for Windows and click on video preview, but it's probably hidden somewhere over here in this is Windows here. So we've got that, and that gives us our little motion. There are other things where I want to do a tutorial on using and putting in a kind of a vignette, which will give us a nice soft corners on these designs. Because right now, again, these if it's a lighter design like this, then you're gonna see how it's going to kind of you'll definitely be able to see where it starts and stops when you project it. But I'll leave you guys with one of our final tips of the day, and this one is definitely going to be important to remember. If you are using this, and I got to find the right one that might show me. This might. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this on your screens, but we're going to make this as big as possible just so that you guys can see it. One of the things you're going to notice is that some clips are not really dark or black. And so let me see how big we can make this for you. There we are. So you'll notice that just on this one itself, if one of the things I can do, I can pop this out. No, it's not going to matter. There we go. Okay. So if you look, if you guys can see it on the stream itself, look at where William and Stephanie is in the background of that. That's black. Okay. And then you notice that like the background of, say, the video clip itself isn't as black, and it just kind of shows, you see a difference in the quality. Now this is one of those things that's going to aggravate you. It's going to show you, like, give you kind of a gray box effect that you're just not going to be able to get rid of, and that really has more to do with the video clip itself. But I'm going to show you guys how you can fix this. So if you're doing something like this, one of the things, and especially in Vegas here, let's bring these over. So here is our video clips. The way that we fix this, what we're going to do is over off to the left side, we're going to go to our video clip of our that our problem child is, which is our snowflakes here. And one of these little icons is going to be track FX. All right, so we want to click on that, and what you're looking for is just something that'll say Sony, say contrast, brightness, and contrast. So mine says Vegas, but yours might say Sony, brightness, and contrast. Any of them will work. Double click on that and hit OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our contrast. We're going to highlight this just to the right of the decimal point here. And watch, I'm going to count you guys down. Watch what happens to this when I bump it up by 1. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and up. Whoops, 3, 2, 1, and up. There we go. Huge difference, right? I mean, it's just, it's a huge difference. And this is going to save you a lot of aggravation later. When you do something like this, it doesn't take a lot, but you can bump up the contrast just a bit, especially with video clips that have black backgrounds if we want it to be more of a true black. And it's just a night and day difference. If we were to say, render this clip, again, it's not going to matter. I mean, you'll be able to see. Let me do this. We're going to go and put this under a new one. Let's create a new video. There we are. So I'm gonna show you kind of the difference here. All right. So now, as I'll count you down and let you know when this is going to change here. So coming up here, this is our normal one, and 3, 2, 1, and now it's back to the regular contrast where we start to see, you know, a little that quite a bit of a difference there. So back to our bumping up our contrast there, and then bumped it back up there. So that's just a little trick that might save you guys a lot of aggravation later on. Michael from Coastal Events says, yeah, love to see a full series using Vegas. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that. It's going to be, there's just, I know a lot of things people need right now, and I'm trying to get the videos done, cranked out, but look for the playlist, because we'll do a Sony Vegas playlist. Again, that's probably going to be done in Sony Vegas, but it's one thing I know is that most of all of the way the like Sony movie studio and stuff is set up, they're very, very similar. So it'll still help you out. It just may be a slight change in how things are done, kind of, but not nearly as bad as like difference between Adobe and Adobe Photoshop and Adobe, Photoshop Elements. So. Shouldn't be nearly as bad, but I appreciate you guys all coming out. Hopefully you guys were able to catch on some cool tips for that. If you have any questions, hey, leave them down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, because you never know when we're going to go live, and I want to give you guys those definite little updates on when new content is available to you. I just want to make things easy for you guys. I want to get you step by step up into the world of being able to do this on your own and not having to rely on anybody else to do it. So if you have any suggestions on content, make sure you leave them in the comment section below, on even videos that you'd like to see in the future. I'll get those answered for you, or questions on Sony Vegas. Then it will probably turn into one of our videos very, very soon in the future. But once again, guys, really appreciate you guys coming out. We will see you guys again next week, and look forward to chatting with all of you guys. Have a great day, and hopefully you guys make it a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye now.